You're watching the Western Athletic Conference on ESPN. It's a Monday in Abilene, Texas for this makeup game in the WAC at Moody Coliseum. An important one as well. Utah Valley up against Abilene Christian. As we take a look at the standings coming in, this one matters a lot. ACU at 4-6, a game and a half out of Utah Tech, and Utah Valley off of a big win, tied in that 11th spot. As we say welcome courtside, everybody. Zach Carlisle with Trey Newhouse, Daisy Strine, and Carrie Johnston coming up in just a little bit as well. Well, this is a big one. It's a makeup game from what was supposed to be on Thursday, but Utah Valley's coming into this really shorthanded today.
Yes, Utah Valley has been depleted by
30 seconds.
injury. They traveled with 8 players, and they're also coming off of a win against Tarleton State on only Saturday. So they've had a game, a travel day, and then another game with only 8 players.
So they're going to lean a lot on Kaylee Bion as we look at the impact players. She's been great for UVU, and Aspen Thornton playing well for Abilene Christian.
Bion has been on a tear these last 6 games. She is averaging 16.3 points a game, shooting a whopping almost 40% from three-point land, while Thornton is putting up similar numbers, 14.7 points per game and almost 35 three-point percentage. So these players are going to go back and forth exchanging blows all game long.
Can't wait for that one. Well, this is a game happening Monday. It was supposed to happen Thursday. For more on that, we say hello to the third member of our team, Daisy Strine.
Today's unusual Monday afternoon tip-off is a product of last week's wintry weather and poor travel conditions. I spoke with senior Maddie Miller about how this inclement weather affected the girls' ability to practice and stay focused. She told me that the women were able to still have practice during the postponements, even with weird scheduling, and she is confident that her team will be able to lock in and take care of business. Back to you, Zach and Trey.
ACU controlling the opening tip. They go right inside to Addison Martin for the early 2 for Abilene Christian.
The Wildcats have always loved getting the ball inside to Martin and just letting her work. She has great footwork down there in the paint.
Here come the Wolverines, and that jumper no good from Kaylee Bion getting the start. So is Alina Tausinga making her first start as well. Criddle in the starting lineup with Gibb and Fano as well, and it's a banged up Utah Valley group. These Wolverines with 8 available players today. The Abilene Christian lineup is coming into form. These Wildcats have started to have the same starters for the last handful of games with Thornton at the guard spot, Earl, Martin, Miller, and Langstaff. Miller and Langstaff, the 2 grad students for the Wildcats. Langstaff on a drive and a quick 4-0 start for ACU.
Langstaff and Maddie Miller have been going back and forth for the leading scorer on this Wildcat team, and right now they're both averaging 12.2 points a game.
On a drive is now the kick, and it's Bion. Missed the first couple from the field. This is a rematch of a game that was played January 14th in Orem, Utah. ACU winners 71-50 on that Saturday afternoon. Miller kicks it. Langstaff starting to heat up a little bit from the outside as well is Langstaff at 33%. Here comes Martin again. How about another try? Langstaff hits the second one.
And that 3-point shot was created by Addison Martin, getting the ball inside and just swinging it out for the wide open Trey.
Utah Valley snapped an 8-game losing streak with a huge win at Tarleton to get them out of the basement of the standings. And now they're going to be fighting for one of those final spots for the trip to Vegas at the WAC tournament in a few weeks. Under 10 on the timer. Dealt with injuries all season long. Tausinga finds Bion. Another attempt for number 3, short again.
And the Wildcats are coming from the other end of the spectrum on a 3-game losing streak. So trying to snap that, get back into form. 2
road losses last week at New Mexico State and Grand Canyon, and a home loss to SFA on Saturday. Miller was out of bounds. And a sub in for the Wolverines. Tessa Cheney comes in. Number 34, the freshman out of Utah.
It's hard to believe that Kaylee Bion's only making her 6th start of the season. and she has made the most of those starts. As we said, averaging 16.3 points a game in her last 6.
Yeah, starting each of the last 6 games is Bayan, the freshman out of California. 1 double-digit game in her first 13. As you mentioned, 6 in a row. On the drive and a reverse layup and a much-needed bucket. Sage Gibb to get Utah Valley on the board. Gibb, the redshirt freshman out of Canada. Get the Wolverines their first basket. So we're at 3 minutes into the afternoon. .13 to shoot it. ACU looking back door. Miller's going to take the 3. That'll bounce out and over and around. Back to UVU.
Maddie Miller has not been afraid to shoot threes this year, and she's making them. She's shooting 37% for 3.
Playing in her 139th career game this afternoon. And a recent member joining the 1,000 point club, she did that in the game at Utah Valley on January 14th. 10 to shoot it for Bayan again. 5 on the timer. Gibb another look, deep. Did that draw any iron? It did not. Shot clock violation.
The Wolverines are keeping the ball in Kaylee Bayan's hands, and the Wildcats are doing a good job putting 2 defenders on her, forcing the ball out.
Bayan, a superstar freshman. Gonna be a good one in this league. Backcourt pressure and a takeaway. Here's Gibb. Stoppage, I don't know, that shot clock was not correct. I think they reset the shot clock to 20 and it should have been 30. So I think they'll put 27 on instead of 17.
The Wolverines
25.
are missing one of their best players in Jane Brown. She only played the first 3 conference games, including their win in double overtime against Grand Canyon, and she was their leading scorer with 14.6 points a game.
What a win that was to open league play against Grand Canyon at home, and then the injury bug hits, 8 straight losses, and they were able to come up with a big one at Tarleton on Saturday. Turning around and converting Shea Fano. Fano's been in the lineup. She's been healthy this year, having a good year.
She has, and after a while, there's only so much you can do against those injuries. Respect these ladies for fighting hard and playing well.
A kick for Fano. Meanwhile, Abilene Christian, 2.5 minute scoring drought here after scoring the first 7. And they need a win in the worst way. Does ACU 3 straight losses. And here's Thornton for 3.
Thornton has been lights out lately. It seems like she's hitting everything.
How big is this game, though, for ACU today? With the busy week, 4 games in 8 days, and currently on a 3-game losing streak, they have to win this game today. That ball's thrown out of bounds and a turnover.
Yes, this is a huge game coming off the Abilene ice storm that seemed to disrupt everything. But luckily, the Wildcats women's basketball team was still able to get out to practice, still able to work hard over the past week.
As Daisy told us at the opening, it didn't affect much of the travel, but it does move the game to where you're playing 4 times in an 8-day span, as will a few teams around the league. Utah Valley, one of them as well. They'll go home Thursday. Martin, nice catch, able to turn and score.
Martin has been doing a great job establishing herself as a paint presence early in this game.
Early 8-point lead for Abilene Christian. Where will the points come from today for Utah Valley? Gibb rattles off a 3.
Gibb has taken 3 shots already so far.
Miller thought she'd pop one. Thornton, same spot. Different result this time, no good. How about Langstaff? Oh, the shuffle and a travel and a turnover.
A good find inside there by Thornton, but just unable to convert.
Halfway through this first quarter, Abilene Christian the early lead. Big game for ACU at home. It's time now for our keys to the game, brought to you by your Greater Texas Ford dealers.
So for Utah Valley, the keys to the game are to come out hot and limit turnovers. And Utah Valley hasn't necessarily came out hot in this game so far, and they also haven't necessarily limited turnovers with 2 already. And Abilene Christian needs to get into rhythm, which it looks like they're doing so far, and feed Aspen Thornton, who has already hit a 3 so far in this game.
Part of the slow start is Bion can't quite get going for these Wolverines. She is 0 for 4 to start the game. Had some quality looks on the offensive end as well. Now into the corner is Claire Graham. That might have been altered. Out of bounds it goes. Deflected by Sage Gibb. For more on the injury situation that we've talked about with Utah Valley, let's send it over to Carrie Johnston.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Almost every team has to deal with injuries throughout the season, and for this game, Utah Valley is no exception to that. Only 8 Wolverines on their 16-team roster are playing tonight, and they won their game on Saturday, but they lost Wolverine starters Elena Tafisi and May Alfalo due to injury during the game. So it'll be interesting to see how this depleted roster will affect this pivotal matchup. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Carrie. Yeah, Jay Fano converts inside, so they need her. Here's Martin at the other end for a chance at a 3-point play.
Martin is 3 for 3 on her layup so far and has a chance to pick up her 7th point at the line right here.
What a start for number 12 inside.
Martin shooting 52% from free throws.
Well, and with Utah Valley not having May Afoa in the paint, the big 6'1" redshirt freshman star inside, you know, Jaden Brown, she's out 6'1". They've got some height missing from the lineup. That's where Martin may be able to take advantage today.
Yes, a lot of height missing and also a lot of rebounding that comes to an already somewhat poor rebounding team. They get out-rebounded by 3 rebounds a game. And the Wildcats, with their big roster, are going to look to take advantage.
15 on the timer now for the Wolverines. Tausinga going to kick it. And that 3 is online for Allie Criddle, the sophomore. Big shots. They're going to need to make a few of them from the outside today. It's a good start. Utah Valley hanging around in this first quarter, down 5. Thornton has already hit a 3. Air balls that one. See if there's a chance for the Wolverines to run today. Number 1, Kylie Mabry into the game, a freshman out of Utah. She's come off the bench the last 3. On a drive, Fano, it's poked free, but it's out of bounds. And it'll stay with the Wolverines.
You have to think that the Wildcats will try to get out into transition early this game, try to tire out the 8 Utah Valley players.
That's the key too, and I think that's part of it, not just today, but this entire week. 4 games in 8 days, legs get tired. You played Saturday. Now this part you're used to. 2 games in 3 days, that's a typical Thursday, Saturday, just moved to Saturday, Monday. But you start to do this, then you got the quick turnaround Thursday and Saturday later this week. That's going to change some things for these teams around the league.
College basketball is a tiring sport, so these girls have to be tired.
8 to shoot it. Bion is going to kick it, and Fano, no good. Rachel Harjo, number 33, out there for Abilene Christian. Thornton's had a couple of chances from deep, 1 for her first 3. Martin's been the workhorse so far. Now Miller rattles out. Earl working hard on the glass on a putback.
The Wildcats have been taking a lot of open shots, and you just have to wonder how they're getting that open.
Drive and a kick, Fano. Lob, oh, they almost picked it off. Got it to Fano anyway. And the shot no good. Here come the Wildcats. Not many numbers for Earl. Thornton will kick it. Oh, the ball fake. Extra pass, it's Harjo. Look at Miller on the putback. Oh, the ACU's getting on the offensive glass here these last few minutes.
Yes, the Wildcats have 10 rebounds to Utah Valley's 5. They have doubled them in rebounds. And that is one of the big reasons why the score looks the way it does.
Already the 4th offensive board for Abilene Christian, who's shooting at 50% from the field. And we'll have the 2nd and 3rd free throw attempts of the ball game. Maddie Miller, the super senior, as Julie Goodenough, the 11th year head coach, looks on. For Abilene Christian, a Hall of Famer in her own right, 209 victories in her time at ACU, 498 in her 29-year coaching career. Bayan tried to go all the way down, and Harjo tapped it out of bounds. 1:05 to go in the first quarter. Blocked away. They tried to go to Mabry, and Harjo got in there defensively.
The Wildcats have been playing some tough paint defense so far.
Harjo's bumped here by Fano.
The Wildcats have a big lineup in right now with Harjo, Miller, and Martin all in.
So Utah Valley's going to counter that and bring in their 6'3" freshman Tessa Cheney to provide some height. That may have something to do with what the offensive rebounding situation has done so far. Langstaff returns for Abilene Christian as well. .45 seconds to go in the opening quarter. And 10 to shoot it. Here's Miller. Oh, feeds Harjo, nice pass.
Beautiful pass. Underhand scoop to Harjo for the open layup.
Miller up over 330 career assists her time. About a 4-second difference between the game and shot clock. Mid-range jumper. That's good for Abby Conley.
The Wildcats on the defensive end are bringing pressure around the half-court line, and that is one of the reasons why Utah Valley is able to swing it and get those open shots.
Zoe Jackson, a transfer point guard with 3 seconds, stolen away. Mabry, can she get a shot off? No, she did not. Oh, it rattled out. I don't think she got it off anyway, so that'll take us to the end of the first quarter. Abilene Christian 20, Utah Valley 11. WAC Women's Hoops on ESPN continues. Start of the second quarter in Abilene, Texas. It's 20-11. ACU in front of Utah Valley. Zach Carlisle with Trey Newhouse. Glad to have you with us today for WAC Hoops on ESPN. ACU with that 9-point lead, shooting at 53% from the floor.
And you can just never count out this Utah Valley team. All 5 of their wins this season, they were trailing after the third quarter.
Start of quarter number 2 here in just a second, as these Wolverines, with just 8 players at their disposal for head coach Dan Nielsen today, trying to figure it out on the road in a tough environment. On to drive and a foul. Abby Conley, as Dan Nielsen looks on, the 4th-year head coach, a native of Round Rock, Texas, now coaching in Utah, went to school at BYU. And 8 games under 500 in his 4th year. 2 years ago, took this team to the NCAA tournament for the first time.
So playing in Abilene is a little bit closer to home than playing in Utah.
A little bit. Good to have him back at his home state of Texas for this week trip. Started at Tarleton and came over to ACU, and they'll head back home to Utah tonight. Looking on Julie Goodenough as well, 11th year head coach. Talked about the 2019 Big Country Hall of Famer from the West Texas area. Went to UT Arlington to play ball for a couple of years. She's now in her 29th season as a head coach. She has won conference titles at the NAIA, Division III, Division II, and Division I levels. Here is Bella Earl. Her 3 is good. 5 early ones in this first half for Earl.
Earl is a great leader on this team and leads with a 3-pointer right there.
10 to shoot it now for the Wolverines. Pass picked off by Langstaff. Here she comes. Now Earl. Number 3's feeling it. Timeout, Utah Valley. 51 seconds into the second quarter. Abilene Christian with their largest lead. Abilene Christian doubling up Utah Valley. There's Julie Goodenough looking on, and a milestone coming up for Coach Goodenough. For more on that, let's send it over to Daisy Stride.
If you know Wildcat head coach Julie Goodenough, you know that every game is an important game. But these next few games are even more meaningful as Coach Goodenough is at her 498th total career win. With the win today, she is one step closer to a career landmark of 500 wins. This is Julie Goodenough's 11th year of coaching at ACU, and she recently guided the Abilene Christian women's basketball team to its 7th consecutive postseason. Back to you, Zach.
Daisy, thank you. And yeah, trying to make it another postseason, 8 in a row with that WAC tournament in Las Vegas. And we'll see what seed they become down there when that postseason gets going in just a few weeks. It's a foul at this end. All of a sudden now, Trey, Abilene Christian starting to pull away 6 in a row, and they have a 13-point lead.
Yes, the Wildcats are settling in, getting in their rhythm, and they're just flat out hitting their shots. They're shooting almost 60% from the field in this game.
4 from the three-point line as well. Aspen Thornton trying to create. And Earl again. Boy, Bella Earl's having herself a nice first half. Almost got another one to fall. But another offensive board. ACU has another chance. Martin lost it. And that should be a jump ball. Well, haven't seen that signaled. Is that a jump ball or just out of bounds? Yes, it is. Jump ball. Possession stays with Abilene Christian and 10 to shoot it. See her lose it here. Martin and Bion.
Looks like Bion was too focused on Thornton for a second and didn't see the ball coming as Utah Valley gets a turnover.
They come with Fano, the takeaway, trying to lay it up and in. Just didn't have a lot of help in transition there. But a second chance and the offensive rebound for Criddle. And the ball tapped out of bounds. It'll stay at this end.
And the Wildcats haven't been very secure with the ball so far. 5 turnovers.
Saw Kaylee Bion in your screen. 0 for 4 to start it from the field. I'd be shocked if Bion leaves the floor today for Utah Valley. They're going to need number 3. 10 to shoot it. Entry pass. Now the kick. Gibb. And Gibb has her first triple.
And a great shot by Gibbs. Very high arcing. But Langstaff got up to contest that shot. She almost tipped it when it was already out of her hand.
Thornton, nice feed. Martin could not finish it. And then a jump ball on the rebound attempt in the arrow to the Wolverines. That was some kind of pass from Aspen Thornton.
The Wildcats have been finding Martin all day long, and I expect that to continue happen through these next 3 quarters.
That's the first miss for Martin from the floor. 3 for 4, she's got 6 points. Zoe Jackson into the game for ACU. A little bit of backcourt pressure here.
That backcourt pressure is probably to up the pace and get Utah Valley moving into their offensive sets.
Gibb again. No good on that 3. She's had a couple of quality looks from the outside. 3 minutes into the second quarter. Claire Graham, the freshman, a local product in West Texas out of Tuscola. Now Martin, turning left-hand finish.
Martin's just posting up again and again. She has taken 5 shots and made 4 of them.
Pressure again. Fano breaks it. They gave the baseline and then the pass too high and out of bounds in the corner. Back in comes Maddie Miller for ACU, and Harjo in the Wildcat lineup as well. This feels like a game, if Abilene Christian can build up a lead a little bit, you start to get more rotation, you limit the minutes, because you got 2 more games coming up this week.
Yes, that's big. Blowout wins in these stretches where you just play and play and play are very important.
Zone D here for the Wolverines. Ball stays on the perimeter for Abilene Christian. Now Martin. Seems like it works when you get 12 involved for ACU. She draws a foul.
Looks like that foul was on the floor. Ball will stay with ACU.
So no shooting foul. Lob it in now to Harjo. The foul was on Cheney. Her second. Miller off the extra pass. Buries one from the outside.
Such great ball movement right there. Most players are tempted to shoot that 3 that Bella Earl had in the corner as we have a stoppage, but she just swings it over to Maddie Miller, makes that one more pass, and Maddie Miller rewards her with an assist.
Abilene Christian off to an 11-5 start in the second quarter, blossoming out to a 15-point lead. Got to get Bion going here. No points yet for number 3. Gonna feed it, and the 3 no good for Criddle.
The Wildcats have been letting Utah Valley shoot from deep. They're saying if you want to beat us, you got to beat us yourself.
It's a foul. I think they got Bion for that one. It's the extra pass to Miller for the triple, as you saw earlier. Maddie Miller with 5 for Abilene Christian, already 4 rebounds as well for number 31. As we approach 5 minutes in the second quarter. ACU keeps the possession, and Jackson lines one up, no good. On the move, Criddle gonna lay it in. Found enough space. And you see the name on the back of her jersey is Blackham. Her maiden name, as she just recently got married, Allie Criddle. You know, they don't have time in season to go get a new jersey and change the name, but.
Well, congratulations to the Criddle family.
That's right. Good to hear that for the sophomore out of Utah. Ball loose, here she comes again. Nearly walked with it, but got it back. And 20 on the timer. Bion gonna try to set something up offensively. She does have an assist to her name in this first half. Fano gonna launch. No good. Miller with rebound number 5 already.
And Fano is always a pick and pop threat. She's standing at 6 foot and she's shooting over 30% from 3. So she just sets those screens, take a couple steps back, and launch the 3.
And then Fano with the block right there. Abilene Christian with a 13-point lead. A lot of it has to do with rebounding. Let's send it over to Carrie. What you got?
Julie Goodeneff has always emphasized with their teams has been rebounding, and so far the Wildcats have done that. The Wildcats have out-rebounded the Wolverines 18-8 with multiple offensive reboundings, giving ACU second chance points. Part of that advantage may be due to the Wolverines missing big players like May Alfoa. So we'll see if this trend continues throughout this matchup. Guys, back to you.
Carrie, thanks. Depleted lineup, not as much height anymore, and ACU trying to take advantage on the glass. Out-rebounding Utah Valley 18-9. So far in this opening half. And that ball deflected by the length of Harjo at 6'2". Now Jackson in transition, no. Ball's gonna be tapped away. Look at Graham go after it. Oh, tumbles. You hope she's okay. Goodness.
And both players look to be all right there. The Utah Valley coach had to be holding his breath as Bion went down. And then he would have been playing with 7.
There's both players going after it. You got to look out for those courtside seats and the table that's over there. Kaylee Bion running point. Last 6 games, 17 points a game. She's been incredible, but a scoreless first half for number 3.
Wildcats are in a 2-3 defense with emphasis on protecting the paint.
5 on the timer, Bion. Need it, got it. Kaylee Bion.
That was one of Bion's signature shot, that mid-range pull-up that has helped her play as well as she has these past couple of games.
Nice find. What a feed by Thornton. Graham no good. Another offensive rebound for Abilene Christian. ACU's in an almost 3-minute scoring drought. Langstaff tried to change that here as she's fouled and will head to the line. Addison Martin will check in for ACU.
ACU is always keeping one of their 4s or 5s in the game at all times in order to get those offensive rebounds and just post up hard in the paint and create those high percentage looks the coaches love to see.
And while Abilene Christian has missed each of its last 5 field goals, they get to the foul line here, and Langstaff ends the scoring drought. The grad student out of Asheville, North Carolina, been around a few places. Started at Winthrop in her career, spent last year at Northeastern State Division II in Oklahoma. Transfers to Abilene Christian as a grad student, one final year in her collegiate career. Over 1,000 career points at her 3 schools combined.
And she has been a big part of the character of this team this year.
One of the 2 true leaders, you know, with Miller, the 2 grad students, or 5th years. Outside of that, no true seniors and no true juniors. Miller went after it. Nearly a takeaway. It'll stay with Utah Valley.
The Wildcats are just creating so many deflections on the defensive end. Just using their wingspans and just standing in passing lanes. And as the ball comes, knocking them away.
Bion got into the scoring column earlier. Now they go to Fano's way. Nearly threw it away too high for Gibbs, but she caught it. And then the shot clock late. The jumper no good. Here comes Abilene Christian. 2 minutes until the break. Thornton, oh, I thought she was going to take that one. Instead, the pass a little too wide. Looking for Martin and a turnover. There hasn't been a ton of turnovers in this first half. I think a grand total of 12.
I don't think Coach Goodenough will ever complain about trying to get the ball inside for an open layup.
Pass just a little wide as we're at 100 seconds to go until halftime. Entry pass. Fano still caught that somehow. Now they throw it into the backcourt. That should be a backcourt violation.
Backcourt violation, turnover to the Wildcats.
And the Wildcats will probably try to get 2 more possessions in this quarter with 1:30 left.
Utah Valley trailed by 10 at halftime Saturday. They have not led at halftime this year, except for twice. They've only led at the break 2 times, and they are 0-2 in those games. But they did trail at the break Saturday and came back to win it with a 33-point second half. Abilene Christian gets it in, and there's Martin for 2.
And I guess that was a pass from Aspen Thornton. I thought it was a shot at first, but hopefully it was an assist.
I'm going to go with probably not on that one. I assume they'll go with
I agree.
three and the rebound.
That's up to the scorekeeper.
As much as that might have looked like an attempt. 43 seconds. There it is. Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think Thornton's passing that one.
Worked out either way.
That's right. Martin there for that putback. You know, if it's a home game, though, you never know. Maybe the little home cooking on the stats. 20 on the shot clock. And look at Miller. Miller's the one with the mop in her hand to clean it up. Other duties as assigned for the fifth-year senior. You know, she's worked for our ACU TV crew as well. JMC student, you know, she just kind of a unicorn, does it all. Entry pass, tap free, and it's Miller with a takeaway. Under a half minute now until halftime. Langstaff, no good. No shot clock. Utah Valley can hold for the final shot. Well, foul on the floor first. Just a third of the quarter on ECU. So Utah Valley can hold for this final shot of the first half. Fano going to take the three, probably a little earlier than they would have liked. Langstaff now, plenty of time. Oh, did she dribble that off her leg? She did. And with 6 seconds, the Wolverines will get one more chance.
And maybe this time the Wolverines will take the last shot.
Bion, 3 seconds, gotta go. 2, 1, did she get it off? It's good if it counts, it does. They're gonna look at it, but that's a basket to go into the break. Abilene Christian with a 35-22 lead at the intermission. And we've got the ESPN halftime report coming up. ACU in front by 13 at the break.
I always dreamed of doing something that would make a difference, and so getting as much knowledge as possible was important to me. I love the fact that you can dream a new reality and then see it come true with hard work. Today, I know I'm making a difference, and a big part of seeing my dream come true was when I got my master's at ACU.
Get your undergraduate or graduate degree online at Abilene Christian.
Get ready for an entire week in WAC Vegas. More teams, more games. The 2023 Hercules Tires WAC Basketball Tournament. March 6th through the 11th at the Michelob Ultra Arena and the Orleans Arena in Las Vegas. For ticket information, go to wacsports.com.
For years, I trained to be the best linebacker on the field. That drive made me a top performer at the NFL Combine, and I played 5 seasons in the NFL. Now I'm working toward another dream, building my own business, training athletes to help improve their performance. I want to be the best businessman I can, so I'm getting my MBA at ACU.
Get your degree online at acu.edu.
Back in Abilene with the halftime score of ACU 35 and Utah Valley 20 as you peek live at the campus of ACU. And now into Moody Coliseum as these Wildcats have a 15-point lead at the break. And as we say, welcome courtside, everybody. Zach Carlisle with Trey Newhouse. And I tell you what, in the first half, I wasn't sure which way this would go. Abilene Christian was really good on the glass, and they've built up a 15-point lead.
Yes, I think the big differential here is the rebounding. The Wildcats have 9 offensive rebounds to the Wolverines' 9 defensive rebounds.
Yeah, they've been really good at the first half. So we look at the first half stats presented by First Bank Texas. The field goal percentage, as you see it, three-point shooting, ACU's taken 17 threes in the first half. We haven't seen a lot of free throws, but then to your point, the rebounding seems to be the difference in the first half.
Yes, the rebounding, but also the three-point shooting, and then also the shooting in general. Kaylee Bayon, who we thought was going to be a difference maker in this game, has played all 20 minutes so far and has only hit 1 mid-range jumper and no threes. So that is a big difference so far in this one.
Yeah, you see the numbers there, and the three-point shooting really not phenomenal for either side, but ACU does have 5 three-pointers to their name here in this first half. Well, before we start half number 2, let's talk a little bit about team chemistry and what this team means to each other for Abilene Christian. For more on that, here's Daisy.
At the beginning of the new year, the ACU women's basketball team, along with their coaches, committed themselves to each choose a word for the year of 2023. Some of the words include trust, promises, resilience, growth, and gratitude, and many more encouraging words. In doing so, these words are able to bring intention, focus, and clarity to what they want to accomplish, ultimately bringing success to the team. Back to you, Zach and Trey.
Daisy, thank you. Yeah, you see kind of what they do on social media and how they build that team chemistry and bonding, and this team, one of the great ones at doing that. And it's working on the floor right now as well as they've built up this 15-point first half lead. So Trey, what are the things you want to see, or what are you expecting to see here in the first 5 minutes or so of this third quarter?
Well, I want to see the Wildcats have a higher three-point shooting percentage. They're shooting them for sure, and they're getting wide open three-point looks. But for a team who prides themselves on their three-point shooting and is shooting 31% for the year, this is not up to their usual standards.
Now, they struggled Saturday against Stephen F. Austin as well. Something like 4 for 21 in that loss to the Lady Jacks, and 5 triples in half number 1, and they will begin with the ball in the third quarter. ACU in front. We showed initially 35-22. They did wipe the basket off at the end of the first half, and so that did not count, and so it remains at 35-20, not 35-22. Here's Bayon. Rise and fire. No good. 1 for 6 is Bayon from the floor.
Bayon's been getting open looks. They just haven't been falling so far.
Such a talented true freshman. Here is Martin on the baseline. What a first half for Addison Martin. 10 points, and now she's up to a dozen for the game. Martin's really making a difference for Abilene Christian today.
Yes, she is. That big presence in the paint and on the glass.
That mid-range jumper, too. Look at the lob pass deflected by Earl. Coming over on that help side D as they try to get it into Fano. It's been an impressive defensive performance so far for ACU. Criddle's got it. 5 on the timer. Criddle's got to go. One-hand floater. No good. Another quality defensive possession for Abilene Christian. Martin turning. Martin's got the first 4 of the third.
Martin has been hot all game long. She has taken 9 shots so far and hit 7 of them.
See if Bion can create set-up shop for these Wolverines. Try to get it to Tausinga, and now Gibb. 10 on the timer. Fano, well deep. Not so much on that possession. Utah Valley still looking for their first points of the third.
What's making the difference on this defensive end for the Wildcats is just knowing the Wolverines' defense. They're running a pretty base pick and roll defense, and the Wildcats are jumping over those picks, hedging them, and making sure that they get no open shots.
Earl. Her three is good. Bella Earl has 11 now for Abilene Christian.
Earl has hit 3 threes out of the 6 the Wildcats have made today.
Earl missed a couple of games. She didn't play in this Utah Valley game in the middle of January. And Orem, due to a lower leg injury, back in the lineup. Bion, no good. Oh, ball deflected. Look at this. Well defensed by Criddle. Lays it in.
And that pass just timed perfectly by Criddle, getting up and knocking it down and creating an open layup for herself.
Trying to get a little bit of a spark for these Wolverines. Thornton lines one up, nothing there. And Len bodies are on the floor.
The ball will stay with the Wildcats.
Good hustle from both sides. Let's go back to the Bella Earl three for ACU. It's good passing, isn't it, Trey?
That inside-out game has been the bread and butter of the Wildcats all game long.
20-point lead for ACU. Martin in the lane a little long there, but got away with it. 2 on the shot clock, and Langstaff no good. Another run out. Criddle's behind again. The defense, the layup for Mabry, no good. She'll get another opportunity. Could not convert it. Now the ball is loose. Langstaff and Bion in there. It's a jump ball, and the arrow to the visitors.
Both of these teams have been on the loose balls. They've just been, whenever the ball hits the floor, Wildcats dive, Wolverines dive, everyone dives.
Six and a half in the third. ACU making a few substitutions here in this third period. Jackson out there at the point guard spot. 10 to shoot it for Criddle. On a drive down Mabry. They get the mid-range. It's Cheney. No. Long 2. Earl rebounds it. Langstaff wants to go. Look at the speed up the floor for 2.
Langstaff knows when to accelerate.
Forces a Utah Valley timeout for Dan Nielsen. Abilene Christian doubling up Utah Valley. Largest lead for ACU at home. Abilene Christian in front by 22. Let's go for an injury update here in the second half. Send it over to Carrie Johnston.
Yeah, thanks, Zach. Towards the end of the first half, Claire Graham took a hard fall diving for a ball. She went to the bench, and the trainers checked on her right eye and right eyebrow. Though she was down for a second after taking the fall, she was back warming up for the Wildcats at halftime and should be back in action for the floor for ACU. Guys, back to you.
Carrie, thank you. Yeah, you saw Claire Graham she's been kind of all season long, the freshman, just diving for a loose ball, coming down to the other end. She's always getting her hands in passing lanes, and then kind of saw the tumble into the side of the table there, courtside with the courtside seats, and see if number 23 comes out onto the floor to second half for ACU. Meanwhile, Trey, ACU a 9-2 start to the third quarter, and they have a 22-point lead.
Yes, these Wildcats came out of the locker room hot, and that's probably thanks to the adjustments Julie Goodenough made in the locker room.
47% shooting for Abilene Christian. 6 from the outside as well. We just haven't seen a lot of free throws. That's been pretty much irrelevant here this afternoon.
0 fouls for either of these teams in the quarter.
Kaylee Bion against the zone D. Trying to create, 8 to shoot it. Cross the court, the pass for Mabry. They got to get it off, 2, and it's short for Gibb and a shot clock violation.
In that zone, the Wolverines were just trying to overload one side, and they just found themselves passing the ball, skip passes back and forth across the court, and that burned the clock.
Now this 22-point lead, ACU trying to add to it. Couple off the bench into the game in Harjo and Jackson. Martin hands one. Harjo mid-range, no. Mabry a chance to run it. Bion up ahead. Boy, they need that for number 3.
Just Bion's second bucket of the day, bringing her total to 4 points.
2 for 8 shooting. ACU right back into old reliable.
There's Martin again. Seems like she does not miss.
Having herself a game for the Wildcats. 16 points and 6 boards for the redshirt freshman. Lead back to 22. Abilene Christian as they try to snap a 3-game losing streak. Kick it out. It's Mabry for 3. ACU, they'll have California Baptist on Thursday, so they've got to have this one today. This one's big. Look at Jackson high off the window.
Zoe Jackson is just so fast, and she always seems to blow by her defender to get a layup.
First points of the game for the lefty. And the Butler transfer for ACU. Zone D again for the Wildcats. Bion on the crossover. Skips it. It's Gibb. Buries one from the outside. And Gibb's got 8.
That's the purpose of that overload offense, to get those wide open shots.
Couple of threes for Gibb. Now Martin going to work. Miller with 5 points in the game. Look at that. Friendly bounce for Martin. Incredible game for number 12. $18 now for Martin. Still got 13 minutes to go. That one's out of bounds.
And that's 18 on 9 for 11 shooting. That is insane.
Incredibly efficient third quarter for Martin. 3:20 to play in the third. Abilene Christian with a 23-point lead. Back here in Abilene with ACU in front of Utah Valley. And Utah Valley will have it down by 23. They go to Sage Gibb, who is denied in the paint, got it back. Just 5 to shoot it, Bion has to go. She'll launch one, and it will not draw any iron. That hits the shot clock buzzer. Bion looks like she's limping just a little bit.
And you really hate to see that. And I know Coach Dan Nielsen really hates to see that. Their leading scorer is limping when they only have 8 players.
3 minutes to go in this third quarter. Langstaff with no Martin out there. Brooke Jessen into the game, 32. There is Jackson with a triple, and Abilene Christian's got their 7th 3 of the game.
And Zoe Jackson is always ready to pull up for 3.
Her 12th make from distance for the season. Eight on the shot clock. They get it back to Bion, no. It's gonna be Criddle. She'll take it and connect. Late in the shot clock.
Criddle's been a valuable part to this team. She's their leading scorer today with 10.
Out of Lehigh, Utah, the sophomore. Under 2 to play in the third. Jackson just hit a 3. Now Miller, her turn. Nothing there, and the rebound to Fano. And a foul this end. Hey, Tuesdays. Reminder, Tuesdays on ESPN Plus, get in-depth coverage of all things Abilene Christian women's basketball. It's the Julie Goodenough Show, presented by ACU TV, every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central on ESPN Plus and the ESPN app. 23-point difference. Here's Criddle. No good. Where Graham, 23 into the game. Carrie told us about them attending to her. She is out there for the Wildcats. Langstaff is fouled. Free throws coming up.
And that speed really helped Langstaff to draw that foul. She just dribbles quickly by her defender, tries to go for the reverse layup, and gets fouled.
Here is Langstaff on the attack. There's something about her dribble drive that adds another element to this offense.
She just always finds leverage. It's hard to believe that she wasn't a part of this team last year by the way she plays with all of her teammates.
Definitely a leader for these Wildcats. In year one, they look to number 4, a captain on the team. Her and Miller have really taken this team by storm. And that leadership, Julie Goodenough's told us a few times, the leadership that they have is the only leadership they've got, because they're the only 2 veterans on the team that have at least been around college hoops. Maddie Miller's been in the program for 5 years. Langstaff, a 5th-year player in her own right. They need that on the floor to guide these youngsters through the course of a season, and that's what they've gotten out of those 2 this year.
They do need that core leadership, but that core leadership is also developing for years to come. And I know the coaches and people a part of the ACU women's basketball program have to be excited about what's coming next.
That's got to feel good for Kaylee Bion to get one to go from the outside. 7 points for number 3. She's really fun to watch, one of the youngsters in this league. Jackson no good on that one. Bion out of Buena Park, California. Now Tausinga going to try to go. No good. No shot clock. Final 25 seconds of the period. ACU can hold for 1 to close out the first, or rather third quarter. 10 to shoot it. Who's got a look? Graham, 5 to go. No. 1 second, and Bion's not going to get one off, and that'll take us to the end of the third quarter. Abilene Christian with a 22-point lead, despite no field goals in the final 2 minutes and 43 seconds. Back for the fourth after these messages. The 2023 Hercules Tires WAC Basketball Tournament takes place March 6th through the 11th at the Michelob Ultra Arena and the Orleans Arena in Las Vegas. For more information on the road to WAC Vegas, visit wacsports.com. Start of this fourth quarter here in Abilene, Texas. Abilene Christian in front of Utah Valley. Zach Carlisle, Trey Newhouse, with Daisy Strine, Carrie Johnson, and the entire gang. So glad to have you with us for WAC Hoops. And a turnover gets the fourth quarter started for Abilene Christian. Trey, we kind of came in talking about the significance of this game really for ACU. Both of these teams need it, but in particular for ACU, trying to end that 3-game losing streak. This is a big one for these Wildcats. They're playing well today.
Yes, and this game, as all conference games do, has huge implications in seeding for the WAC tournament in Las Vegas. And Utah Valley, they're just trying to earn a spot, a free trip to Vegas, I guess.
Yeah.
That win against Tarleton on Saturday
Huge.
was a big win to help them get there.
Great feed from Bion to Fano. Outstanding pass from Kaylee Bion. ACU to work in the fourth, and it's a Miller 3. Wildcats 7 for 23 from distance in the game. Up by 20 here in the fourth. Bion picked up the dribble, 10 to shoot it. 5. They got to go. The little Euro and the layup for Criddle. No, that'll be a shot clock violation. Did not get the putback up in time. And the ball did not hit the rim as well, so that'll be a turnover for Utah Valley.
And the Wildcats have been doing a great job about making Utah Valley burn that shot clock and take bad shots as a result.
Brooke Jessen turning, the UTRGV transfer. First-year Wildcat out there for ACU. Miller wants one from an extra step out there.
Deep 3 right there, and that brings the Wildcats 3 counter to 8.
Another one for Miller. Her second of the game. Extra pass, Gibb lines one up, and that is going to bounce off the front. ACU up ahead. Look at Bion tap that away, trying to get it to Graham.
Utah Valley has been lurking in those passing lanes going up court, and they forced a few turnovers off of that.
I'm just impressed by Bion and the way she plays. Does not look like a freshman in the way that she plays out there for Utah Valley. They rely on her so much.
That's true, a very mature player.
Bright future. Just another one that's, the great youngsters. We got a lot of good freshmen in this league. Jessen open. Rims out, somehow doesn't fall, gets another chance. Now Thornton, her opportunity's nothing but net.
Thornton's second 3 of the game. She only has 6 so far in this one.
To see ACU do what they are doing in the game without number 1 playing that big of an offensive role. Now Bion rattles off. Quality look. 3 for 11 shooting today. Now this entry, look at Martin. Try to keep it alive. Jessen another look. No good, and the rebound to Cheney. We approach 6.5 to play in the ball game. Cheney on the baseline, rolls it home. The freshman out of Saratoga Springs, Utah.
That's Cheney's first points of the day.
Westlake High School.
Another interception by Utah Valley.
As they get a takeaway. Abilene Christian's 12th turnover. Bion kicking. Gibb no good. Jessen, she's been busy here in the fourth. Gets the rebound. And now it's Martin. 20 points for Martin.
Big game for Addison Martin.
Substitutions and a timeout on the floor. 5:57 to go. Abilene Christian on their way to their 11th win of the year. Under 6 to go. Abilene Christian in front of Utah Valley. Let's talk a little behind the scenes, shall we? Let's send it over to Carrie Johnston.
ACU prides itself on experiential learning, and one of the biggest examples is here at ACU TV. Over 70 students are employed to help create what the audience sees on their screens, from running cameras, operating the control room, to being on-air talent like me, Daisy, and Trey today. Today's game is directed by ACU senior Jalen Garrett, and students like us are grateful for the opportunities we get from ACU TV every single day. Guys, back to you.
Carrie, thank you. There's David Mitchell. We saw Trey Schatzman. Boy, look at the gang. We saw Jalen in there. He's directing the traffic for us today. He keeps us on the train tracks, right?
He keeps us from going off the rails.
We're just along for the ride at this point. They do a phenomenal job running the show all season long. Game number, I don't know, 1 million of 2 million this year, it feels like, this season, having so much fun putting these on ESPN Plus. Utah Valley to work and into the corner, and short is Criddle, and there's been a lot of late shot clock possessions for these Wolverines today.
And that's just a big part of that Wildcat 2-3 defense that they've been running all day.
It's Langstaff going to work for Abilene Christian. Number 11, Alexis Babineau into the game. Long jumper, no good. Earl, offensive glass. Graham, it's blocked. No, foul. It's a foul.
And Graham is a tough player. She went out, went over to the trainer, got looked at, came back in, and took another shot right there.
More subs into the game with 5:04 to play. Tristan Keller, Zoe Jackson for Abilene Christian. And free throws for Graham. Usually has a pretty good showing of fans from Tuscola in the crowd for Claire Graham. It was really special for head coach Julie Goodenough, she told us, to sign someone she's known for a long time. She's known Claire since she was a little kid growing up in West Texas, and was able to recruit her out of high school. A terrific high school career at Jim Ned, multi-sport athlete. You ready for her high school win-loss record in basketball? 125-15.
Wow.
4 years. I mean, what a career she had.
Not used to losing.
That's right. Comes to Abilene Christian and plays in year one. Another young, promising freshman in this Western Athletic Conference. Lob inside. Nice catch by Tausinga, and then the foul is committed. Foul's on Babineau for ACU. Don't think it's shooting.
The Wildcats' first foul of the quarter.
Tausinga on the lob inside and one.
And there's their second foul of the quarter.
Feeds it to Conley. Has a chance at a three-point play. Nice catch and finish here.
That's just one of those designed out-of-bounds plays. When just how the coach drew it up and how they practice it and practice hundreds of times.
Abby Conley, the sophomore at Alpine, Utah. Played in 11 games a season ago. Playing in her 17th game this season. Off the bench.
And Utah Valley still bringing that pressure behind half court, even though they're down 25.
Travel on Babineau and a turnover for Abilene Christian. Doesn't get easier for ACU from here on out, but they're going to get a much-needed win. And with Thursday's California Baptist game coming up, then back on the road for UTRGV. But to get back to 1-1 with another home game to go, 3 in a row, this is a significant one for Abilene Christian.
Yes, and it's very important that the Wildcats are feeling good going into that WAC tournament where everything matters.
Kick it back, Mabry. No good. 4:06 to go. Hampton Williams, a freshman out of Kansas. Check again for ACU. And Bion coming back for the Wolverines. You know, it was interesting. I'm just kind of pop culture related from the last name Bion. It just sounded familiar to me, and I wasn't sure why. And I went and did some looking and some digging, and I was following her season a little bit, and I was like, man, what's that name from? And sure enough, her younger brother is Tristan Bion, who is an actor in California. And I was like, okay, wait, what show is he on? He is on ABC's A Million Little Things, which is a show that I've followed over my years, and I was talking to some friends about that. I said, oh yeah, we watched that show, and her younger brother, Tristan, in school, and he is an actor on that show, A Million Little Things. And so I thought that's just a fun nugget to share about the Bion family, and she's in her first year at Utah Valley. And fun to see that. And again, you can actually catch, we can promote ABC, Disney, but the final 5th season of A Million Little Things coming up in February on ABC.
Very talented family in the arts and in athletics.
And Sage Gibb at the line. Boy, what Utah Valley is going to be excited about is they got here. What a wild road trip, because they were supposed to play here Thursday, but they couldn't get down to Texas. The travel was crazy. They ended up with a late flight Friday to get into town, and they didn't really get to Texas till about 1 a.m. Saturday.
That's a tough travel schedule.
To then play Saturday at Tarleton and win the game. They get over here Saturday night, have a couple of days in Abilene, so it's been much better the back half of the trip, but they're not going to get home till late tonight in Utah. There's a 3 in a corner for Gibb, who's really quietly having a nice game, 12 points at her third three-pointer. So they're going to get back Saturday, or rather late tonight, and then they'll have the Thursday turnaround. So they are just excited to be back home for a couple of days, as they'll play Thursday and Saturday in their home gym.
Yes, and I'm sure over the past couple of days in the locker room there have been many energy drinks being drinking.
They'll have UTA rather, and then Southern Utah, who is without a doubt the shock of the league, coming in. 7 to shoot it here for Abilene Christian in this 23-point game. But Utah Valley was big to get to that second league win, because it gets them into a tie for 11th, right? 11 and 12. You got to get to the top 12 in the regular standings. There's a traveling violation and a turnover on ACU with 2.5 to go. You got to get to the top 12 in the pure regular standings, not the resume seeding, just the regular standings, and then that'll determine who goes to Las Vegas. And so now they're in a tie, and they're into that top 12 spot. It gives them a chance. But they are going to have UTA, who has kind of been a surprise in its own right in a negative side at 3-7 after being reigning Sun Belt champs their first year in the WAC. And then they get Southern Utah on Saturday, 9-0. What a year the Thunderbirds are having.
Southern Utah undefeated in conference play.
Surprise of the league.
Hard team to beat. Very surprising.
First year in the WAC to come in 9-0. SFA at 8-2, who just beat Abilene Christian.
In the coaches poll, Southern Utah was ranked 6th. And for them to be undefeated this deep in the season, unbelievable.
And they'll make a trip to Orem for a game Saturday. 21-point ACU lead with 2 minutes to go. Pass a little wide from Bion, out of bounds. Turnover for Utah Valley. Heads back the other way. Another sub, Reagan Fox. They're going to call a timeout. It is Abilene Christian with 1:50 to go. 1:50 left with a 21-point Abilene Christian lead on their way to win number 11. So ACU at home today against Utah Valley. What's coming up for the Wildcats? Another home game, the final of 3 in a row, Thursday against California Baptist. That'll be a challenging one for the Wildcats. Then they go to UTRGV before coming back home for Tarleton. For Utah Valley, they go home for 2 big ones, UTA and Southern Utah. We mentioned they're at the top of the standings. And then the road trip doesn't get easier as well, at CBU and Grand Canyon. Tough schedule. 3 really challenging ones in a row for Utah Valley here in February.
Yes, and I'm excited for that Grand Canyon rematch. First conference game of the season, Utah Valley beat them in double overtime. So that's sure to be a nail-biter again, hopefully.
And Utah Valley coming off of that overtime win Saturday at Tarleton. Hampton Williams lines up a 3. And her bench was ready to go crazy as she connected on that one. 1.5 minutes to go. A 1:20 to go. Bion trying to create something. 7 points for number 3 today. And it may break her stretch of the double-digit performances we highlighted her coming in. Just the ball hasn't been able to drop for her today.
Yeah, she's taken a lot of shots and gotten a lot of quality looks.
Right.
But she's only 3 for 12 so far in this game. She has 9 points. I know she's probably hoping she can get over that double-digit mark. Keep her streak alive. Keep the gravy train rolling.
And that's the thing. It really, you're absolutely right. They have been good looks for her from the floor. She's not just been throwing up a bunch of shots. Reagan Fox for 3. Yes. The freshman out of Oklahoma, her second 3 of her career.
And one thing that fans love to see is this Wildcat team, whenever one of their players hits a 3, they all get up, they all get rowdy, and they all start celebrating.
Under the final 30 seconds, virtually no time between the game and the shot clock. So ACU can hold for as much of this as possible. Instead, Harjo hits a 3. Oh, they're just having fun here in the 4th. Final 10 seconds. A comfortable ball game. ACU leading for the majority of the game.
And another good defensive play just to close out the game right there.
ACU never trailed today. And Abilene Christian snaps the 3-game losing streak with a big one. 73-46 over Utah Valley to cap off a wild, wild weekend. How big is this win for Abilene Christian?
This is a huge win. Snaps their 3-game losing streak and gets them right back on the path before these next 3 big games against conference opponents.
And they needed this one with a busy week of action coming up. And how important was Addison Martin today? She really, really played well for Abilene Christian.
Yes, Addison Martin seemed like she was touching the ball every single play, and that got her 20 points on the day on only 12 shots. She went 10 for 12 shooting.
Yeah, big-time performance for Martin.
Putting up video game
coming
numbers.
off of a double-double, and then 20 points today for number 12. And these Wildcats get a big, big win.
And I know this team has to be feeling good, feeling ready. They ended the game on a 6-0 run and hit some big 3s down the stretch. So Wildcats get a nice blowout win, and their starters get a little bit of rest towards the end of the game.
There's Addison Martin. She's going to come on around and steal Trey's headset from him. The thief that she is, to come on and sit down after a 20-point effort today. Our player of the game, Addison Martin. Well, I was talking to a couple of your teammates before the game. They said, Zach, we need this one today. You got this one. How's it feel to get the win?
Oh, it feels really good. You know, we lost 3 games in a row, so coming in today, we knew like we needed a win, and we needed this to get back on track, and that's what we did.
Yeah, I mean, you inside, it felt like things were going well offensively there. It felt like you were getting good positioning. You finished with 20 points. How'd it feel offensively today?
I felt really good today. I felt like I just needed to get back on what I was doing and just get my teammates to trust me again, which I know they already do, and just know that they can throw it into me and I can go and score.
Is it odd a little bit? You start preparing for this team to play them Thursday. The game gets moved to Monday. How do you feel like everybody dealt with the craziness of this last week to play this game on a Monday afternoon?
I think we dealt with it really well. You know, we came in and practiced yesterday, and then we only had 1 day of prep, but we came in, we got it done, and we knew we needed to come in here and take care of business.
How important is this one, and how does it build for you going forward the rest of this week? Because you got a lot of games coming up here.
Yes, it's very, very important, you know, just coming in with getting a win, you know, heading to the next few games, you know, it just kind of gives us some motivation just to keep working and just go get more dubs.
Congratulations, Addison.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. Addison Martin with a 20-point effort in Abilene Christian's win over Utah Valley. Thanks for hanging out with us today. This has been a presentation of the Western Athletic Conference on ESPN. Zach, Trey, and the gang, so long. Take care from Abilene, Texas.